Al, you ready to see some Hammer Hammers today?
Yeah, always.
Well, congratulations. You're going to get to see multiple instances of Hammer Hammers in this episode
Yay!
that I'm sure definitely made TV back in the day. I don't know. If this was on Adult Swim, they might have been able to get away with it, but I feel like as it was also 2002, so they might have tried to skirt around it, as they say.
I I think I remember it being there, but
It's not
I
like
don't
like
know.
when you would have to or when they were doing Toonami on after school, we're like, oh, here's a bathing scene. Let's just throw on random tan lines on these characters so we do not show nudity.
Weird.
That was their censorship idea.
All right.
Anyways, hello, welcome to this week's episode. Jared now watch Inuyasha is episode number 3. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Hal and Ladium.
Hello.
And we are watching season 1, episode number 3, called Down the Rabbit Hole Back Again.
Wee.
Exactly. We gotta start
We
off by
we
bathing
start
in
off
a
with
lake.
him robbers.
We start off with Hammer
Yeah.
Hammers, bathing in a lake that's apparently has the depths of the ocean. It
It's
is the
so
deepest
deep.
lake ever created.
It is so deep, and Kagome is mad because it's very cold. And the funny thing is that she's like standing, and it's very shallow because like she's standing up and you can see her.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, she's like, "I'm just gonna go swimming inside of it," and it's like, "I'm an ocean."
Also, she's very mad because no one knows how to bathe. So she's
Yeah.
like, she feels like she's covered in like dirt and stuff. She's just like, I'm so mad. Coyote's like, why are you
There's no
mad?
shampoo.
She's like, I can't wash myself. Coyote's like, oh, I don't show you. They haven't invented
Then
soap yet.
they know they notice that Inuyasha is like
Just lounging in a tree, just like, hey, what's up?
looking, and Kagome gets mad because she thinks that he's like checking her out. Which, I mean, I don't know what other reason he would have to be up there, but she sit boys him.
I think he's just like around because he wants the jewel.
Yeah,
So he's just
that's
just
true.
around in the periphery just because he's like, maybe I'll get a chance to take it. Also, during this period, we get a weird recap of the
Oh
last 2
right,
episodes where she's like, hey,
remember
remember me?
me?
It's Kagome. And it's like, yes, we know who you are. It's only been 2 weeks of episodes. You don't have to go into a full recap of what has happened in this story so far. How much does this show not trust its audience at all to have any memory retention?
It's a full recap of everything that happens. It's wild.
What the heck? So weird.
Man.
Like, we were watching this and I was like, oh, maybe there was like a delay between, like they had to take a week off for some reason. And it's like, no, it was just the next week. There was no delay. It's
She
very
just had to
weird.
remind you.
Hey, remember me? I wonder. I wonder if she introduces herself differently in the Japanese version or not.
I was wondering that too.
But regardless, yeah, she eventually finishes her bath and beats the crap out of Inuyasha for like looking at her.
And then she dresses up in the like priestess
Traditional garb,
outfit.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
Take your clothes off.
yeah, he says something like that, and she's like, "Excuse
And she
you,"
like
and beats him
bashes him with
rock.
and he's like, I didn't say to get naked. I just said take the
I was-
clothes off. Because all what you wearing though. He's like, oh, because I look like Kiki. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then also there's the lady who's just like hanging out with a skull who has a rat tail. Because that's the real thing that just happens. The
That's
hair.
Mira. She's sitting on
Yes.
her throne of skulls.
Your hair, when you die, it just stays attached to the skull. The hair. Did you know your hair comes immediately? It grows from your skull and comes through the skin, and that's how it grows.
Thinking that too. I was like, does this guy just not have skin? Like, is his hair just directly from? It's so weird.
He's got a rat tail.
Yeah, he does.
It's gross. She's like, oh yes,
Let me brush
stroking
this rat
tail. I was like, oh god, girl,
My
some better
throne of
standards.
skulls.
I mean, that's pretty cool, but not a rat tail skull.
I mean, it can't be comfortable though to just be lounging on skulls.
I mean, they're for the most part kind of smooth.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, maybe.
She also has her hammer hammers kind of out.
Yeah, there's a lot of hammer hammers just getting out in this episode. Apparently,
Yeah.
they're like 3 episodes in. It's like, let's get these hammer hammers out.
Time for boobs.
So yeah. Also, some lady comes and gets Kaede's like, my daughter's sick or something, and she's like, all right, cool, I gotta leave. Hey, you two don't split up or anything. And then immediately they split up.
Yep.
Because Kagami's like, I'm going home. And Inuyasha's like, I don't care. Whatever. Go home. I'm going to just stay here and do nothing. Kaede goes back to the village, and then the girl's daughter just, like, becomes a puppet and has a knife and goes to slash, and, like, it doesn't show what happens. And then it cuts to other stuff into the forest. And Kagami's like, hey, I found the well. I can go home. Cool. And then Yura's like, hey, cool. You have the sacred jewel I want. That's
the shard.
neat. Well, she doesn't know the
she
shard
doesn't know
yet.
it's a shard. True.
And she's like, oh, and Kagami's like, oh my gosh, what's up with its hair? She's like, oh, you can see the hair. Cool. Well, that's not gonna matter. I'm gonna kill you. give me the jewel. She takes the jewel and pulls out like, oh, you broke it.
You bad girl.
Well, where's the rest of them? And Kagami's like, I don't know. And Yura's like, well, too bad. I'm gonna shove you down this well later.
Bye.
So Kagami falls down the well, and the well, and Yura throws her sword at her, but then it doesn't. Nothing happens. So she's like pulls it back up. And she's like, "That was weird." All right, whatever.
Sure.
I got the shard now. It's cool. Inuyasha shows up to the village, and like all the girls are trying to kill him, and he's like, "What's happening? I'm going to fight them anyways." And Kaede comes out with her poop-stained shoulder, and like. Inuyasha, don't beat them. They don't know what they're doing.
They're being controlled.
And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about because I can't see anything. She's like, look at the hair. He's like, what hair? The hair on their head? Whoa, they have hair. Cool.
Still gonna hurt them.
And then he gets tied up in some hair, and he's like, oh no, I'm being tied up by mysterious objects. Weird. He gets a tree cut down because he escapes from the hair for like a small bit.
Yeah.
And then Yura finds like a strand of his hair. He's like, oh, what pretty silver hair. I must have it for my collection. Cool. Also, Kagami finds herself back home.
Yay.
Her grandpa and brother are like, I told you she fell down the well. And then like they shine a light down, and she's like, hey, what's up?
And they're like, why didn't you call? You were gone for 3 days. And me and you were both like, okay, one, feudal era cell phone. And
let me get my feudal era cell phone out to ring you. Be like, hey, I'm in feudal Japan. Whoops. BRB.
Also, I'm at the bottom of a well. If you guys think that she's stuck at the bottom of a well for 3 days, how is she going to call you?
Also, the bottom of that well isn't that deep.
It's not.
But regardless, yeah, she comes back and everyone's like, yeah, cool. Welcome home. She gets to take a bath in green water.
It's so weird. It's so green and her boobs are just out.
They're basically just showing them.
Yeah, like there's no nip, but
they're out there.
You can see boob.
He's like, oh, I get to be home and everything. Yay.
Shampoo.
Meanwhile, Inuyasha is trying to figure out what's going on. He piggybacks Kaede into the woods and then just buries her alive.
Yeah, that part's really funny.
She's like, you better come back and get me. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
I'm
out of here.
He starts burying her. She's like, I'm not dead.
I'm not dead. I'm resting. He's like, well, think of it as a hiding spot instead.
He's like, you better promise to come back.
He's like, yeah, totally going to do that. Ha 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 ha. All right, I'm out of here. Bye. And that's basically how we end this episode.
Yep.
Oh, buddy. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
It's going to come up in the next episode, but I figure it's better to ask now while it's on my mind.
Okay.
Why does the blood in this show look just poopy?
My guess was like sensors, but all the blood is brown.
Yeah, but like it's still, I don't think you would need to censor blood in this show of all things. Like it's not a lot of blood that they've we've seen so far. Like it's like a little bit. It's not enough that I'd be like, oh god, there's gore here.
I mean, there will be more blood as we go along, but
It just seems like a weird, like, the next episode, it kind of makes more sense because, like, it's darker, but even then it's still very
yeah,
brown, but it's just,
yeah.
like, bizarre, like a bizarre stylistic choice. Like you
I
said, maybe it's a
mean,
censor issue, but, like, it's a weird way to censor it.
Danganronpa made it hot pink.
That's better than poop brown.
Okay, I mean, you're not wrong. When it dries, it kind of gets poop brown.
Yeah, but, like,
None of it's
the
dry.
next episode, people are getting cut immediately, and it's still poop brown. So, like, I don't know.
I
Either
have no
way,
idea, but it's definitely a thing that is in the show. Is that the blood is very dark.
it's weird. Either way, we got some notes and differences to talk about.
Okay.
After Kagomi's face was cut by Yura's hair, her cut disappeared on and off for the rest of the episode.
Nice.
Kaede explains to Inuyasha and Kagome that it wasn't Kagome on her or her arrow
Kagome.
that shattered the sacred jewel, but the crow demon's foot that she tied to the arrow that shattered it.
I mean, wouldn't I think that's splitting hairs? Ha! But
Nice.
seriously.
When Yura tied Inuyasha to a tree, and when this is a weird sentence, like this doesn't make it's not written well.
No.
When Yura tied Inuyasha to a tree in what's known as the cat's cradle,
Yeah.
that's the end of the sentence.
Yeah. she tied him in a cat's cradle. Is
Yeah.
basically what they're trying to say.
The pouch Kagome used to store the jewel shard was not seen again in the series, except for in the next episode.
Yeah.
It's never explained what happened to the outfit Kaede lent Kagome after she returned to the present. They probably just washed it or something.
Probably. I mean, like they live in a shrine area.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, cool. You're just wearing a shrine outfit. We could use this. This is
Yeah.
the first time Kagome passes through the well back to the present without the Shikan no Tama or any shards.
Da-bum.
Well, clearly she's never going to do that again.
Nope.
Differences from the manga. The panel with the villagers commenting on Kagome, who is taking a bath in a nearby river performing a purification ceremony to raise her spiritual powers, is omitted in the anime.
Okay.
The anime includes a scene of Yura in her nest of skulls joyous about the return of the Shikan jewel. I mean, it's a cool scene.
Yeah.
In the manga, the village woman who asks for Kaede's help is shown with 2 children accompanying her. She only has 1 in the anime.
It's too much work to animate another child.
It's true. In the manga, Kagome first notices Yura's hair when birds are cut in 2 after flying through it. The anime instead has Kagome notice a leaf being cut in 2. Man, that's way more cool.
Whoa.
Oh man, that bird just got cut in half. What's happening?
Weird.
In the manga, when Inuyasha is first attacked by the village girls being controlled, he slams them to the ground before realizing who they are.
Oh my god, Inuyasha, calm down.
When Inuyasha attempts to pull out Yura while he's wrapped in her hair, she explains in the manga that this won't work because the hair grows, while she simply severs the hair in the anime. And then Yura's obsession with Inuyasha's silver hair is only present in the anime.
I mean, it is pretty.
It's very silvery, but not washed, so it's probably kind of grody.
Well, and we'll talk about it more in the next episode of
Exactly.
the state of his hair.
Well, that will lead us to next episode, which is season 1, episode number 4, called Yura of the Demon Hair. But I think in the show they just call her Yura of the Hair.
Yeah, I think so.
Just cut out the demon part altogether.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? That part's kind of self-explanatory. We'll just nix it.
Yura of the Hair with him or Hummers.
Yeah, they are just out.
That's what we're going to talk about next time. But for now, if you would like more from us, go to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Season Anime Checkup and Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And there you go. So next time we'll talk about some hair.
Hair.
Hair.